And we're going to start on our back today. So take a couple deep cleansing breaths as you settle into the floor. Just spend a moment here, just kind of releasing yourself energetically from your busy week. From perhaps you've even had a busy morning this morning. Just taking a moment to release that, let it go as you exhale. And let your shoulders sink down into the floor even more. Letting the face relax. And here we're letting our body come to a stop. So we're running around most of the time, kind of on autopilot. And we stop noticing the subtle things, right? We are so focused on whatever it is that we're trying to make happen. And we don't often come back to the present moment and back to the subtle things. So just take a moment now to be here, noticing your body lying on the floor, noticing the tension start to melt. So anywhere that you might be holding on or gripping as you exhale, just see if you can start to untangle some of that tension. Notice the shoulders again. Maybe they've lifted back up and you can gently remind your shoulders to relax. And just be here now, lying on your back. Nowhere for you to be, but right here. Watching the breath coming in and out. And just preparing yourself for the practice of postures. And preparing yourself to take the gaze inward. So this is what we are all searching for when we're out running around, busy with life's activities. We forget to turn inward. And it's so important to come back to the self. So taking the gaze inward as we move our bodies today, connecting back to the beautiful, brilliant you in this present moment. You don't need to be anything different than what you are right now. And perhaps we'll start our practice today with just a moment of gratitude. So just taking the time right now to connect with something about yourself that you can be grateful for. It doesn't have to be a big thing, it can be something small. Grateful for showing up on your mat today. Grateful for your body's ability to move. I'm just grateful to be here in this present moment. And then with your next breath, we'll go ahead and start to gently wiggle the toes and fingers, wrists and ankles. And reaching the arms up overhead. Stretching, reaching. And we're going to take the arms over to the right side of your mat, grabbing onto the left wrist, and then take your legs over to the right side as well. You could just have the heels towards the right corner, or you can cross the left ankle over the right ankle, and then kind of start to stretch yourself into this crescent moon shape, stretching out the left side of the body as you breathe. And gently release as you make your way to the other side. Grabbing now to the right wrist with the left hand, pulling over to the left side of your mat. A couple of breaths here. Coming into unison with the breath. And then releasing, coming back to center, bending the knees, place the feet on the floor. Take your arms out to cactus arms. So elbows are bent, backs of the hands on the floor, and then taking your feet out as wide as your mat. And you're going to let the knees fall side to side. And you can do this as slow or as fast as you like. So just tune into your body, see what your body is asking for today. My body would like to move very slowly. So we're moving slow. Maybe you start to incorporate the head as well. So turning your head away from the knees. Starting to warm up the neck. And let's let both knees fall to the right, rolling onto the right side. Grab the top knee with the right hand, left arm reaches away from you. Turn the head towards the left side of the mat. So we're just coming into a nice twist here. So waking up the spine, breathing nice and deep, noticing the spine from top to tail. Notice what's here for you today. Maybe it feels good in your body. Maybe there's some sticky spots. And without judgment, we just notice. And rolling back onto the back. Let's come into the other side now. Both knees to the left, grabbing the top knee with the left hand. Reach the right arm away from you. Turning the head. Same idea here. Notice what's here for you on this side. And then coming back to the back, getting the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze here, maybe rocking side to side. And we'll take our legs up towards the sky. Just relax the feet as you roll the ankles both directions. And just shake out the legs a little bit here. So just warming up. You could even gently kind of tap on the legs to kind of wake them up. Wake up, wake up. Get some blood flowing. Shake them out a little more. And then bringing the feet back down to the floor, rolling to the side. And let's come up to seated. So coming into your easy seated pose, moving things out of the way so those sit bones can find the floor. And we're finding a lot of length through the spine. So the crown of the head is reaching up, And at the same time, the shoulders relax down. So notice if the shoulders have come up towards the ears. Or they say your shoulders are trying to become your earrings. I find that I notice that happens a lot, and it's not even conscious. Like throughout my day, I have to like check in and remember to relax my shoulders. So just take a moment now to kind of relax the shoulders. Maybe you can even roll the shoulders back a few times. Maybe you yawn. These are really great ways of releasing the tension. I'm starting to learn about and study right now is how to complete the stress cycle. You know, we build up all this stress in our bodies and it never really goes anywhere. And so coming up with some of these practices that can help us release the stress to complete the cycle, and then it can leave our bodies and not hang out and make us anxious and sick. So rolling the shoulders in whatever way feels good to you today. So let's take a moment here and let's do the neck as well. So maybe the chin comes to the chest. So you can stretch out the back of the neck. Maybe the hands come and gently press down. Deep cleansing breaths here. Okay, so again, that's going to help us release that stress out of the body. Maybe the head turns side to side and bringing the head back up. And just notice for a moment, come back to stillness. Maybe you already notice things feel a little looser or a little less tight, a little less stressy. I think it's good for us to kind of toggle back and forth between, you know, a stressful or tense state and in between a relaxed state. So we start to learn the difference in our bodies. We start to learn like what tension feels like and what relaxation feels like. And let's take a couple more deep breaths here. You can just breathe, or you can lift the arms up as you inhale. And hands together as you exhale. The breath is one of the most important ways that we release anything that we're holding on to. And again, inhale. And breathe it out. Let's interlace the fingers, press the palms forward as we round the back. Really spread the shoulder blades here. I think what we should do today, what I'm feeling like, is just moving your body intuitively. So we're gonna get into some shapes, and you're just gonna like close your eyes and see what your body wants to do. So like right now, my body wants to wiggle my shoulder blades back and forth and really get this nice stretch. Inhale, reach your arms up, pressing the hands up like you're gonna touch the ceiling. And then we'll slowly let the hands come down. You're going to take the right arm up, bending the elbow so that the right hand kind of pats you on the back and the elbow is pointed up towards the sky. We're going to take the left hand and grab the elbow. First, we're going to pull that elbow towards the wall behind you. So getting a stretch through the front part of the shoulder joint, maybe through the tricep. Breathing. Alternatively, you could take this left hand behind you and reach, and maybe the fingers come together. Mine don't, so I'm going to keep it right here. And then sitting up even taller, reaching the elbows up, we're going to hinge to the left, just slightly. And breathe. And come back up. Release the arms. Shake it out. Let's try the other side. Left arm reaches up, left elbow pointing towards the ceiling. Right hand's going to come up and pull this elbow back, sitting up nice and tall. Really, the chest is coming forward and we're breathing here. And again, you could reach the right arm behind you if that works. also. And breathe. And now let's hinge it to the right. And coming back up, release the arms, shake it out. Maybe move, maybe a couple more circles of the shoulders, whatever feels good here. And let's take the right ear now towards the right shoulder. So we're stretching out the left side of the neck. If it feels good, you could reach those left fingers away from you. You could either walk it out on the floor or flex the wrist. Maybe the right hand comes up to gently deepen the stretch and breathe. And I want you to imagine, visualize as you're exhaling, all of the tension kind of uncurling, unfolding, releasing as you exhale. If you have tension in your neck. I don't ever not have tension in my neck, so it's very easy for me to visualize it uncurling. Maybe the chin comes down to the shoulder. Maybe it reaches up towards the sky. Again, here, intuitively begin to ask your body, what does it want here? And let's do one more breath. Release the right hand and carefully bring the head back to center. And let's just take a moment here. Again, we're going to notice the difference between tension and release. So what do you notice on the left side of your neck versus the right side? Maybe nothing. That's okay. Maybe it feels a little more open or a little looser. We're just noticing. All right, other side. Left ear now to left shoulder, right fingertips can walk out away from you, or you can flex the wrist. Maybe the left hand comes up. Gently, gently, gently pulling to deepen the stretch. Remember, we're breathing nice and deep here and visualizing release. Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe there's knots untying. Maybe there's, I don't know, some kind of, I'm visualizing some kind of like scrunched up material that starts to separate. I don't know how else to describe it. But whatever that looks like for you. Breathe. Each out breath, it starts to unwind. And then maybe we take the chin down towards the shoulder. Maybe it reaches up. And being really careful not to do anything that would injure. So you know your body, you know what movements are going to feel good. And then release the top hand and come back to center and just notice again. What do you feel? What do you notice here? Taking the right hand across, left hand behind, coming into your twists, looking behind you. Find your deep breath here. Let's take the back hand, reach it up overhead, and come all the way over to your opposite knee. Now bending the elbows as you lean forward, hanging the head. The chin comes into the chest. And we start to slowly kind of rock back and forth here. So again, stretching out the back, stretching out those shoulder blades, and perhaps even the back of the neck. Find your breath here. Notice all of the places where you feel the stretch. And maybe you want to hold a bit longer in some spots. Notice that. Give your body what it's asking for. Coming back to center now, unrolling the spine, coming back up to your starting position, we'll try the other side. So again, sitting up really nice and tall, left hand comes to the right knee. Twist and breathe. And then reaching that backhand up and all the way forward. Now the arms are crossed again. Bend the elbows, tuck the chin, lean forward, and rock side to side. And now coming back to your starting position and rolling up. Again, let's take a pause here in the present moment, witnessing, noticing the back. What's the back feel like in this moment? Take a breath. And then we'll come to hands and knees. So coming onto hands and knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Remember, we want to rotate this upper arm so the little creases of the elbows face the top of your mat. Fingers are spread wide. If this is too ouchy on the wrists, you move the hands forward a little bit. And let's try our cat-cow, dropping the tailbone, lifting the chin, shine the heart forward, and then round, tucking the tailbone, the chin comes in, pushing the hands down into the floor so you can really get this nice stretch through the back. Dropping the belly again as we inhale and exhale, round. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to your neutral spine, let's take the knees wide and the big toes come together to touch. So now we're going to round the back just like you did in cat pose. And now we're going to sink the tailbone back towards the heels. So we're coming into the child's pose. Maybe the forehead comes to the floor. Maybe you cross the arms and rest the forehead on crossed arms. We're in a wide knee child's pose. Moving the breath in and out. And bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to now come back up to the knees, but we're going to round the spine as we do it. So tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin, and coming all the way back up. And then letting the belly come towards the floor, inhaling. Exhale, rounding. And sink back towards the heels. And come back into your child's pose. And then one more time, bring the hands back in. Round the spine as you come back up to all fours. Let's bring the knees back into alignment with the hips. Then sink the belly. Reach the heart forward. And now we're coming into a neutral spine. So the spine is in alignment. We're going to take this right hand up towards the sky, circle the wrist a few times. And then we're going to thread the needle. So taking that right arm under the left, right shoulder, right ear to the floor. Left hand can stay by your face. You could also reach up to the top of your mat. You could make the hand into like a little claw, or some people say tent the hand, and push the fingers down into the floor to kind of increase the rotation through the back. That's another option. Another option would be to take this left hand, bring it around the lower back, and kind of tuck it in to that hip crease. We got lots of options depending on what feels good today. Remember, we're listening to our bodies and breathing. One more breath here. Bring the left hand back in close to the face and pushing yourself up, reach the right arm up towards the sky again. And then bring that hand back down, other side. Left arm reaches up, circle the wrist, both directions, and thread the needle. So left shoulder, left ear on the floor. Again, you can tent the fingers, kind of pushing down to the floor to increase the rotation. You can reach the fingers up or take it around behind the back. You could try all three, see which one you like the best. Don't forget to breathe. And then bringing the hand back in close to the face, reaching the left arm up again, and bring the hand down. So back to all fours. Now we're going to kick both feet to the right. So they're going to kick off your mat, and then turn your head around your right shoulder, look back at the toes. So we're getting a stretch through the left side body, and breathe. And let's try the other side now, moving both feet to the left, peek around your left shoulder. And coming back to center. From here, we're going to kick your right foot off the mat. Your left leg goes straight back. The right hand plants underneath the right shoulder. And then we rotate to come into our side plank. So the back foot's going to rotate. So you're on the inside edge of your left foot. Left arm reaches up. So arms are in a T shape. Here, if you want to add the bottom leg, the right leg, to your side plank, you're more than welcome. Pressing down into the hand, reaching through the top of the head. So don't let the head hang. A nice extension through the spine. And then we'll take the arm up overhead, reach the rib cage towards the sky, and make your way back to all fours. Let's try the other side now. Kick your left foot off the mat, right leg goes straight back. Plant the left hand under the shoulder, right arm reaches up. And now we're on the inside edge of the right foot, reaching through the right fingers, reaching through the top of the head. Again, you can add that bottom leg if that feels good. And if you've added the bottom leg, you're going to want to come down, back down to your knee to do the overhead reach. So now reaching the arm overhead, reach the rib cage as well. So you're almost like making an arc or a rainbow with the whole body. And gently make your way back to all fours. And you're going to take either child's pose or puppy pose. So child's pose, the tailbone sinks back. In puppy pose, we keep the tailbone, the hips right over the knees, and we walk the hands forward and bring the chest down. Chin comes down. So either one, they're just a little, I would say puppy pose is a little more advanced, but you get to decide what feels the best in your body today. Couple breaths here. And then we're going to slide onto the belly. So making your way onto the belly, tops of the feet are pressing down. We're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the elbows into the rib cage, and we're pressing down through the pubic bone as we start to lift the head, neck, and shoulders. So we're lifting up as if there's a string right in the center of the shoulder blades, lifting you up Hands are just here for balance. We're not putting any weight into the hands. The shoulders are rolled back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then when the feet press down into the floor, the knees start to lift up off your mat. So here we are, active legs, breath is flowing. On your next exhale, roll down, forehead to the mat. Relax the legs. Take a pause here. And now before we do that again, you're going to ask your body what it wants. Do you want to do the same version again? Or maybe this time you want to push into the hands. Totally up to you. So go ahead and ask your body what it wants today as you start to press down through the bottoms of the feet, tuck the elbows in, and then lift the upper body. And breathe. So even though we have a little bit of tension, tightness in the legs, the breath still is nice and soft. And roll it down. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. So push into the hands, tuck the toes, lifting the hips, coming up first onto the tippy toes, bending the knees, and push the hands into the floor. So now we have deeply bent knees, the tummy comes towards the thighs, the gaze is in between the 2 feet. Fingers are spread wide, and we've got that rotation in the upper arms. Pedaling the feet here. Woo. I have one ear that likes my earbud likes to fall out of one ear whenever I go upside down. So we're pedaling the feet now, really checking out the backs of the legs. So what's going on in the backs of the legs? We haven't really come to them yet. What's happening here? Just noticing without judgment. Maybe it feels really good to stretch this morning. Maybe it just feels tight. Just notice any other intuitive movements that you want to do here. Maybe you like to rock the hips. Maybe you like to pick up one foot. One more breath here. And then start to walk up to the hands, toes facing forward. And we're just melting the upper body. So the upper body is just hanging like a rag doll. The top of the head is facing the floor. Arms are heavy and hanging. And keep the knees nice and bent. So if this is really activating this painful part of your hamstrings, just bend the knees even more. Curl up into a ball. And again here, if there's any movement that your body would like, you can sway, you can grab opposite elbows. You can grab opposite elbows and sway. Really, this is a chance for your spine to decompress. Breath is moving. Now, as we're going to roll up in a second, we want to go really slow. All the blood now is in our head, and if we stand up too quickly, we get lightheaded. So we're going to go really, really slow, push down into the feet. Upper body still hanging like a rag doll. And we're just slowly stacking the bones, one on top of the other. And the head is the very last thing to come up. And we find our Tadasana mountain pose, relax the shoulders. Notice again, if the shoulders are trying to hang out with your ears, and relax them down the back. Turning the palms forward, open through the chest. We have our little imaginary strings here. We've got one right in the center of the chest and one in the top of the head, lifting.
Inhaling, arms up overhead. We're going to exhale, take the right arm over the left arm, crossing, and then bending the elbows, draw either the backs of the hands together, the palms together, or if neither of those work, you can just grab opposite shoulders. So you don't have to have the elbows stacked unless that feels good. We're going to lift the elbows up to be even with the shoulders and find your breath. So now you may be feeling this again in the center of the shoulder blades. This is another great way to open up the back. Maybe the eyes are closed here as you just breathe. On your next exhale, go ahead and release. Shake it out. And we'll do the other side. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Now we're going to take the left arm, cross it over the right. Same thing here, lifting the elbows up and breathe. Notice if it feels different on this side. One more breath. And release. Shake it out. Bringing the hands to the shoulders. We're going to draw the elbows in towards each other and then make big circles with the elbows. And notice, maybe you hear popping, clicking, grinding. If that's the case, make your circles a little smaller. And then go in the opposite direction. Just tuning into the body, the breath. There's no reason why you couldn't close your eyes here if that feels good. And then we're going to alternate. So swimming just like you were doing laps in a pool. Swim those arms forward. Torso is moving. And then let's do some backstroke. Breath is flowing. And coming to a stop. Shake it out. Come back to the top of your mat, mountain pose. And then find yourself here in the present moment. Ground the feet down into the floor. So let yourself feel kind of heavy here. Grounding into the floor. Coming into stillness for just a moment. Noticing what happens in the stillness. And then we're inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, we're going to hinge at the waist, forward fold, come all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale down. Bend the knees, send the arms wide, come all the way up. And exhale, hands into heart. Let's do that again. Inhale all the way up. Reaching up, gaze up, and then folding, leading with the heart, swan dive down. Inhale halfway, flat spine, reaching the crown of the head, and exhale down. Bend the knees as you come all the way up, inhaling, and exhale, hands to heart, and bring it in. From here, we're going to come to face the long side of your mat and take a nice wide stance. And we're going to have our toes towards the top corners of the mat. From here, we're going to inhale, arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we're bending the knees, bending the elbows. So here we want to check in and make sure our knees are not kind of like coming in towards the center. So if that's happening, pushing the knees out so that they're kind of tracking with the toes. Now, sink down into the hips. And now push down into the feet. Inhale, reach all the way up again. And exhale. Coming down. Inhale, push up. Exhale, come down. 2 more. Moving with your breath. Inhaling up. And exhale, come back down. Tailbone goes straight down. Hands come to the knees, digging those heels of the hands into this kind of soft part of the inner knee so that you can balance here. Nice long spine twisting. One shoulder goes forward, one shoulder goes back. And other side. Coming back to center, now reaching for the floor, or you can have a block. Turn the toes to face forward and come into a wide leg forward fold. So the top of the head can sink down towards the floor here. Same idea. Upper body can just hang. And then we'll walk the hands over to the right foot, bend the right knee, keep the left leg straight. And then other side. And maybe you just let your body move here. I'll just give some space. Moving in whatever way feels intuitive. Moving with your breath. And let's go ahead and wind up, all meet up on our left foot. Turn the left toes towards either the top or the back of your mat. We're going to come up into warrior two. So bending this left knee, push down into the left foot as you come all the way up. Relax the shoulders. And breathe. Let's do the same thing here. Push down into this left foot. Inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, back down. Again, inhale up. And exhale down. 2 more times. Back into your warrior two, really sinking down into the hips, checking in with the feet. And let's reverse warrior. Reach up, reach back. And back to warrior two. Now let's come into our triangle. So straightening the front leg without locking the knee, right? Reach the hips towards your back foot and the upper body towards your front foot. And then letting the hand come down either to a block or your leg or the floor. So what we want to try and do here is kind of rotate that heart open, reaching through the right hand, extending through the top of the head. And breathe. One more breath here. And we're going to bend that left knee. Bring the hands down and let's come back to center. So bring the toes with you. Forward fold with wide legs. And then we'll come over to the right foot. Bend the knee. Turn the right toes towards either the back or the top of your mat. And cartwheel the arms, come all the way up, warrior two. And let's start with our breath here. Push down into the front leg. Inhale, reach the arms. And exhale. Again. Maybe the eyes can close here. And you can just start to flow with your breath. In and out. Last time. Reaching now through the fingers, sinking into the hips, check in with the feet. And let's reverse warrior. Reach it up, reach through those fingers. And come back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg without locking the knee. Hips go towards the back leg, upper body towards the front leg. Again, coming down now, rotating the rib cage. So if everything's kind of pointing down towards the floor, see if you can rotate the rib cage, reach through the fingers, reaching through the top of the head as well. And on your exhale, go ahead and reach that hand down, bending the knee, come back to your center. Let's come up onto the tent fingers. So you got a nice flat back, reach the top of the head forward and fold. You can bend the knees here. And now we're gonna roll up really nice and slow until we come all the way up, and then we'll heel toe those feet back together. Shake it all out. Come back into your present moment. Mountain pose. Find your breath. And we'll just do one more standing pose before we come back down to the floor. So for our last pose, we're going to do a little balance work. So if you're, need it, you might grab onto a wall, the back of a chair, back of the sofa. And we're coming into your mountain pose. Feet are facing the top of your mat, soft knees. We're going to shift the weight onto the left foot. And we're going to swing that right leg back and forth a few times, and then kick the foot, see if you can grab it with the hand. You could also use a strap here. So once you find your foot, we're going to go ahead and bring the knees kind of into alignment with each other. So that's going to start to stretch out the front of this hip, the front of the thigh. And this might be enough here. You could try letting go of the wall and practicing your balance here. Woo. What's really helpful is to find something to stare at and give that your full awareness, something that's not moving. So you could stay here. You could also flip your grip so that the hand comes to the inside of the foot, rotating that shoulder open. Maybe you start to lift the foot. Maybe the left hand comes away from the wall. And see if you can kick the foot into the hand as the hand pulls the foot in, right? Reaching and breathing. And then you get to decide when you're done as you bring the hand and the foot back in carefully and slowly release. And you can roll out the ankles. And then we will try the other side. So getting yourself set up for the other side, we're going to bounce on the right foot. Your right hand can be on the wall or chair. And let's swing this foot. Hopefully I don't kick my dog. And we're going to kick the left foot up. Grab it with the hand. So first, we're pressing the hips forward, bringing the knees towards each other. So we're feeling that nice stretch through the front of the thigh. You can start to play with your balance here, letting go of the wall. Hand can either come to the heart, the hip, or reaching out in front of you. And then if you want to take it a little further, flip the grip. So now the hand comes to the inside of the foot and the foot starts to kick back. The hand presses into the foot presses into the hand, and breathe. Find your balance, find your something to stare at. You could just stare gently over the tops of the fingers. And gently, slowly, bringing everything in. Let it go. Go ahead and roll the ankles. I'm just going to leave a little space here to move the body in any way that feels good to you. We're going to come back down to the floor, but before we do, if there's anything else that feels good as you're standing, any other movements that your body's asking for, This is my new one lately, is a little bit of shaking, a little jumping. That also can help to start to rid the body of that excess stress, completing the stress cycle. All right, so once we are all ready to come back down to the floor, I'm going to let you decide how you want to come down to the floor. I'm going to take a little vinyasa, but you don't have to. Inhaling. You can just come right down if you like. And coming. I'm going to come back into a down dog. I'm going to hang out in my down dog for just a moment. And then start to make my way onto the belly. Coming all the way down to the belly. And we're going to let your forehead or chin come to the mat. The arms are going to interlace behind the back. And we're pressing down into the tops of the feet again, lifting the upper body. So the shoulder blades come together. The hands are moving down towards the feet. If you want to lift the feet, you could try that as well. And we're breathing. Opening the chest, opening the heart. And release, come all the way down. Let your left cheek find the floor, around the shoulders, down into the floor. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let everything go. Sigh it out. Try that again. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale, open mouth, sigh. Everything is relaxed. Take your left arm, reach it out to the side. Right hand's going to come up underneath that right shoulder and rolling. Keep your head down to the left for a little twist. Maybe the right knee bends. Maybe the right foot finds the floor behind you. We're just getting a stretch here. Little twist. And then come back to the back. Or sorry, back to the belly. Forehead to the mat. We're going to try our modified Cobra one more time. So interlace the fingers behind the back. You could also use a strap here. If your hands don't reach, put a strap or a blanket or a towel or something in between the hands. So you can use that as well. All right, so now pushing down into the pubic bone, lift the upper back, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the legs. Breathe. Heart shines forward, breath is moving. And slowly on your exhale, come back down, release the arms, right cheek to the mat this time, round to the shoulders, down into the floor, let go of the legs, inhale, deep breath, exhale, open mouth, sigh. One more time. Sighing is also another brilliant, brilliant way the body can release stress. You may even notice, or I've begun to notice, whenever I am thinking about something that's bothering me, I often wrap it up with a sigh. and then my husband asked me, "What's wrong?" And I didn't realize I was doing that out loud. All right, let's come into our twist. Left hand underneath the left shoulder, right arm reaches out to the side. Keep the cheek down on the floor as you roll onto that right side. Bend the left knee. Maybe the foot finds the floor. Maybe not. And back to the belly. Make your way back to child's pose. Any version of child's pose you like. I happen to really like crossing my arms. and resting my forehead on my arms. That feels really supportive and grounding for me. So find whatever works best for you. I know child's pose can be uncomfortable. So you find what works best. And if nothing works, then you find a new pose. And we breathe. And 2 more breaths here. And start to make your way into your Shavasana, our final resting pose. Again, listening to what your body wants. Your body could want legs up the wall. Your body could want a blanket or a pillow. It could want you to turn off all the lights and just find some darkness. Again, we're taking the gaze internal. Maybe this is the only time of week that we do this. This is our chance to check in. So taking the gaze internal, starting with some deep breaths. And we're gazing, noticing the breath, moving in and out. Noticing how you feel after the practice of postures. Noticing if anything shifted. And settling down into the floor with your breath, letting everything go. So again, letting the shoulders melt deeper and deeper into the floor. Letting the whole back sink down. The whole face softens. The jaw releases. The arms and the legs become heavy. And you're just here in this present moment. Allowing whatever surfaces for you.
And taking a few more deep cleansing breaths. And then beginning to bring some gentle movement into the toes and fingers. And maybe reaching the arms overhead for a stretch. Before making your way onto your side. And just pausing on your side for a moment. The gaze somewhere between internal and external. About to go back to your day. And then as you're ready, making your way up to seated. And drawing the hands together in front of the heart, the thumbs pressed up against the heart center, the shoulders are relaxed. The breath is flowing. And here we are, back in the present moment. Just a witness. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.